Can you give a rating of Slot's Liverpool career from start to now out of 10? So from start to now, 6.5. And I think that's fair. And I'll explain it. So there's no denying he came in and did a great job, won the league. But I do think there are moments even in last season that I was disappointed in. Losing the League Cup final to Newcastle was annoying. The way we went out of the Champions League so early was annoying. Losing to Plymouth Argyle is all kinds of unacceptable in the FA Cup. And then our form for even after we'd won the league or towards winning the league fell off a cliff. And then we've been so inconsistent between now and then. So if he hadn't have won the league, I'd probably be saying 4. But because he won the league, that obviously counts for a lot. But there still have been quite a few moments of, I don't want to use the word failure, so frustration, even allowing for winning the league last year. Irfan said, Champions League, fair enough, but the Newcastle drubbing was really bad. So you say fair enough on the Champions League, Irfan, but I'm going to tell you why I think a little bit differently. The only reason we played Paris Saint-Germain was because we lost to PSV Eindhoven when he put out a garbage team. And if we drew or beat them, we don't play PSG. So by losing over there with the weakened team, we fucked ourselves. And we got PSG. And then we got knocked out. So we dominated the league format, finished top of the pile, and go out in the very first knockout round. So that annoyed me. And anybody this season trying to dress up, throwing away the League Cup as any type of master plan, I don't buy into that either. Because watch now, when the teams play in the next week in the quarterfinals and get to a semi, watch the conversation and watch the buzz and excitement in and around those clubs and their dressing rooms. And nobody will ever convince me that if we had have gotten past that round into the quarterfinal, got a home draw, that we wouldn't all be buzzing right now about a potential Wembley final in the near future. And that wouldn't have also given more minutes to the younger players, and it would have had the feel-good factor at the club and another potential trophy in a season where the league's already probably gone, Champions League's open, and the FA Cup, we got a decent draw, but who knows? So there are moments that just still wind me up. And that League Cup thing pisses me off. We still got first in the Champions League, so how would it change if we still won? Not meant to sound rude. Because it would have changed their positioning. So because PSV beat us and moved up the table, that forced PSG down the table into the position where we played them. That's how it had that knock-on effect on us, mate. Right, so where are you with Arne Slot? I want him to stay, I want him fired, or unsure. I'm definitely somewhere between I want him fired and unsure. I'm somewhere in between those. Mark said, not to be toxic, but I want Slot gone. I often wonder if he'd contemplate stepping down rather than getting sacked. I just don't see enough improvements in our performance. So I don't think he'd step down because of the finances involved in it. I think it cost about 10 million, according to one estimate, to get rid of Slot. So, he's not going to walk away from that. Yeah, I'm with you though, Mark. I'm not fully convinced yet. And it isn't just from this season. Last season, at the end of the season, we talked about what we'd done well and what we needed. And I still think for the players he was given in the transfer window, what we've seen this year is unacceptable on so many levels. And some of the excuses he comes out with, like you're talking about low blocks. Come on. Isak, Ekitike, Wirtz, and you're moaning about a low block and not being able to unpick it. Injuries, well, you want a small squad and you're not rotating enough. Injuries are going to happen. You didn't bring in a centre-back. So there's some stuff, mate, that, it doesn't sit right with me. Sonder said, Arne out if the season isn't pitch perfect from here. See, and that post, mate, kind of makes my point. Because once the conversation starts in a fan base, even if it's a 50-50 split or whatever, once the conversation comes up once and gets a bit of traction, I've always felt like it's only a matter of time at that point for a manager. Because, let's say we win the next 3 games, and then we lose another 2, that's going to trigger it again. And that's going to trigger the divide. That's going to trigger the toxicity. It's going to trigger the negative thinking. It's going to trigger the atmosphere inside Anfield. So when it gets to this point, I don't think it's ever really salvageable in the longer term. So I don't think Arne is going to be here in 2 years' time. That's why I was so adamant on sacking him. 46% of people are unsure. And outside of that, as you can see, exact split on I want him fired and I want him to stay. That is a perfect snapshot of where Liverpool fans are at. Nearly half of us in the middle, and the other half perfectly split between I want him gone and I want him to stay. Yeah, I'm glad I'm not on my own to be confused.